And we have a moral obligation to represent Christ as ambassadors and to be salt and light in this world, reflecting him well. And so political engagement is one way to be ambassadors and to be salt and light in the world. And by political engagement, I mean advocating for policies that promote righteousness, voting for candidates who most closely represent our biblical values, praying for our elected leaders and holding them accountable, and even running for elected office. If Christians do not stay politically engaged, guess what will fill the vacuum? Every evil, demonic practice.
Hi there.
Hello, Kathy.
Hello. On this special edition today, we are going to be uncovering deceptions in the media. We know that the enemy is the God of the airwaves, and boy, is he out there to deceive us. So we're going to go a lot over what CBS has done in the last week and have a discussion about that. So stay tuned. We got a great show for you, and we're glad you're with us on this Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
Welcome to Faith and Freedom Fridays, where we explore the godly way to vote with faith and integrity. Here are your hosts, LaTanya Evans and Kathy Ryan.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone who's joined us.
Yes.
We appreciate you. And, I don't know if you guys have been watching what has happened with the news in this last week, especially with CBS and the interview on 60 Minutes Monday night with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. There has been controversy going back to even 2020 with Leslie Sauls and Donald Trump. So a little back information was every election season, 60 Minutes traditionally has had the candidates on for an interview. And President Trump has had decided that he wasn't going to do the 60 Minutes interview unless they apologized to him for the 2020 interview. And we're going to show you some things. This is quite a long clip, so we'll be stopping in between this, but it dispels a lot of what is going on in our media, not only with 60 Minutes, but all of them, including Fox News, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. They all pick and choose their own narrative. So long are the days that you can get the news and actually take it as fact. It used to be journalism was, reporting the facts. Now it's more about opinion and narrative. So, we want you to engage and ask questions. And even if you want to come on, we would love to have you on and get your comments about all of this as well. So hello, everyone. We're glad that you're with us. Thank you so much for joining. LaTanya, you have anything to add to that before I start playing this clip?
Yes. So Kathy said it. She set it up really well, what she stated. But our media truth. So what is media truth? Well, media that is stating the facts and that's not biased. And unfortunately, that is what we have. We have media bias because that's what we are really dealing with, media bias. And it's so blatant than I think in any other election, or maybe it's because we have more access to what is being shown on social media. And so now that is even trying to be tampered with, because people just don't trust what the main media, what they're saying, because depending on who you're talking to, and it can really go both ways. If you're watching this particular station, they're going to be towards the candidate that they are trying to push. If it's the other one, they're going to be more towards, I would say, if anything, well, yeah, the keep it bias, yes, that they're going to show more toward the candidate that they're wanting. So what is a person to do? So that's why we go to these other sources to try to get a balance. And so we're hoping that that's what we will be doing by focusing on the media truth. And I would say the media bias. And in this particular clip that we're going to be showing, that and Kathy's going to be narrating it in certain points just to keep people up about it, you will see what we're talking about. So if anyone, please let this be interactive, like Kathy was saying. And if you want to come on, I will drop the link and you can come on. Those who are watching and maybe you're not in the comment section, just if you want to come on, we will bring you on. And it doesn't matter. You can be on the opposing. We're just presenting. We're presenting the information so you can be informative and you can research for yourself. But if you think we're totally off or whatnot, come on, let's talk. And let's have a conversation. So we're all learning. So with that, that's all I have at this moment. So I guess we will get into, oh, I'm sorry, Kathy, were you about to say something?
No, I was just going to say, the first part of this is he's going to go over CBS Morning Show, where one of the hosts was asking questions of an author. Now, this author is a extreme liberal, I will say, and we'll stop in parts of this so you can ask some questions and get some background and commentary on that as well. But he starts off with that. Now, one of the things in the media, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this throughout the years, especially since Trump ran for president the first time, and the 2020 election, the media was so soft on Joe Biden. They really didn't ask the hard questions, but they were brutal to Donald Trump. So you can see the bias there and who they were for, especially mainstream media. They were not for Trump at all. And for whatever reason, it is, it's really strange that the narrative on Donald Trump changed when he came down that escalator and announced that he was running for president. Because before that, they all loved him. Hollywood loved him. Everyone loved him.
Yes.
And now they hate him. They absolutely hate him. So just watch this with an open mind. And yeah, we'll get started here.
Okay. So,
it's coming. It's right there.
Okay.
Welcome to Rob Schmidt Tonight. Through decades of great reporting, CBS News built up one of the strongest reputations in TV news. Few outlets in the world have the credibility of CBS, the longtime home of Walter Cronkite. But today, CBS News is dying, and it is a death by suicide. For anyone who enjoys mainlining the PC agenda and government propaganda, today, CBS typically has some of the most potent stuff around. But last week, a rare moment of normalcy when morning host Tony DeCopel actually went after a radical left-wing, anti-Israel, anti-white author that was on his show. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a typical race grifter, endlessly pushing the 1619 Project and reparations, working every day to gut our country with cultural Marxism, working tirelessly to inject the plague of victimhood into Western Black culture. Coates was invited on by the new woke CBS that we've gotten used to celebrate his new anti-Israel book. CBS helping Ta-Nehisi Coates spread its message and catapult his sales. Tony DeCopel, though, had a bit of a different plan. Here's how it looked.
I want to dive into the Israel-Palestine section of the book. It's the largest section of the book. The content of that section would not be out of place in the backpack of an extremist. Why leave out that Israel is surrounded by countries that want to eliminate it? Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it? Why not detail anything of the first and the second intifada, the cafe bombings, the bus bombings, the little kids blown to bits? And is it because you just don't believe that Israel in any condition has a right to exist?
Well, I would say the perspective that you just outlined, there is no shortage of that perspective in American media.
So as you can imagine, standing up for Israel to a race-hustling cultural Marxist wasn't a very popular move at woke CBS. That's not how it was supposed to look. Many staffers were outraged by DeCopel. It got so ugly, CBS initially hired a trauma specialist to lead a company-wide conversation about Tony DeCopel's resistance to the idea of destroying Israel. That's CBS Today. The matter was then sent to the most powerful people at CBS News, the network's version of the clown show department that many in corporate America now have to tiptoe around, and that is CBS's Race and Culture Unit. Kind of like HR on steroids, this was formed right after the George Floyd riots. The unit, created on a whim, is feared by all at CBS, despite being employed by relatively useless HR types. These are the people that now run our lives and run our biggest corporations. That unit determines whether the tone, content, and intention of any segment or package are suitable for the network's air. This unit could be ending this man's career. We don't know. The unit ended up determining that while DeCopel's questions and intentions were acceptable, his tone was not. The tone, the determination made by the new gods of
The tone. They didn't like how he asked the question. He was just asking the question because his book was anti-Israel, and the largest chapter in the book was anti-Israel. Fair enough question. Anybody have any comments on that? Or what do you think about these cultural departments in corporations that actually are shaping our whole society with this kind of stuff? You know, always focusing on race, always focusing on sexuality, instead of people's character. LaTanya, you're muted.
Yes, I was just going to say really quick that one of the things when the interviewer was asking him a question and asked him a question about, do you oppose to a Jewish, these people and a Jewish state, a place of what was the words he used? It was like safety,
right,
or something of that nature. And he was like, well, no, I'm not. But then he switched to something else about it. So, why? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Marxist. He's anti-Israel. He's anti-white. So he's just a complete radical liberal. that has fallen into that narrative. But the thing is are our news organizations supposed to be like that? You know, I think what I get out of this wasn't what the host had asked him or who he is. I think what I get out of this is that all the staff and everything had a meltdown that he asked the question, that the host asked the question in the first place.
That the host asks, so they're having a meltdown because the host asks the question about Israel, about the Jewish.
Right. And why his book, if you strip it all down, it looks like an extremist who is ready to just demolish Israel. So the staff was so traumatized that they were going to bring in, CBS was going to bring in a trauma counselor to counsel these people for PTSD because, you know, they didn't like how he asked the question.
We're in trouble.
You know, I mean, but that's what that's what these corporations have come to with the DEI. You know, with DEI, it's no longer about character and what is right or wrong. Sounds like a bunch of marshmallows. Yeah. But that's what they're teaching in our universities, is to be these sensitive people and get highly offended at somebody who actually speaks the truth to them.
Right. Wow.
So, yeah, it's crazy. And it goes on. So let's go on.
CBS granted their power by white guilt, the most powerful thing of all in today's society. A story like this would have been parody 15 years ago, right? I mean, he just asked tough questions to a very radical author. Today, it's reality. And there are many more examples of the death of CBS. Earlier this week, 60 Minutes interviewed Kamala Harris. Now, the day before the interview actually aired, on Sunday, CBS aired a teaser clip of that interview, where Kamala sounds completely clueless on Israel. Here's the teaser.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
What? This is Kamala. That's Kamala Harris. That's the brain of the person.
Word salad.
Words. Yeah, what did she say? Did she answer the question?
Exactly.
Okay, going on.
Oh, exactly. You said it.
Moving on.
Someone wants to run your country. Not great. 24 hours later, 60 Minutes actually aired. They aired a special on Monday night. Usually on Sunday, they did one on Monday. And when it aired, although Bill Whitaker, to his credit, and I've said this all week, did a great job calling out Kamala's vast and flaky platform of nonsense, but we did notice that she certainly sounded a heck of a lot better on Israel.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
That wasn't what the interview, they edited it.
Oh my, I was hoping you would stop it right there, because right away I was like, okay, how do you go from well, we this is what we're going to like, oh well, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to, from there was such a
What do they think? We're stupid?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
seriously,
so.
is that we're not paying attention?
I think, yeah.
I don't understand that. And you know, I've heard this phrase before. Friends don't let friends watch mainstream media. And this is the reason why, is because you're not getting everything. And a perfect example is if you guys recall that CNN and MSNBC last year at a rally when Trump had said that it was going to be a bloodbath if he didn't get elected. Do you guys remember that? Well, I watched that whole rally. And it was taken out of context. Yes, he did say, those are his words. He did say if he didn't get elected, it was going to be a bloodbath. But what he was talking about was the auto industry, the American auto industry was going to take a bloodbath if he didn't get elected and stop China from building in Mexico, building cars in Mexico and selling them in the United States. Now, the term bloodbath is a business term that is used, especially when they're selling a product, that if somebody comes along and makes a similar product and it gains momentum, it causes a bloodbath in that other company. In other words, it just annihilates them. It puts them out of business. That's what the term means. And you can look it up. In fact, I'll look it up.
Okay.
All right, ChatGPT. What does the term blood originate? That's not what you gave me before. Now it says it's a literal historical context referring to a violent, gruesome event. No. The term blood bath in business. Okay. You're going off on me. Here we go. In business, the term bloodbath is used metaphorically to describe a situation of intense competition, significant financial losses, and widespread failure. That's what the term bloodbath in that context meant.
Right.
But all the news media, the left-wing news media, went off the rails and saying that there was going to be violence in the street if Trump didn't win.
Oh, gosh.
So we Christians have a gift of discernment. We can ask God for discernment and ask him what is truth and what is not. And he'll let us know. He'll let us know. And we need to ask when we're watching the news and we're watching all of this stuff, what is the truth? And I'm not saying Fox doesn't do it too, because they do.
Yeah, that's why. Yes, both. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a gift in the media right now, is we can, if somebody's taking an interview and cutting it all up, we can go search on YouTube and Rumble and find the whole speech and find out exactly what they said.
Yeah.
And I encourage our audience, our friends here, to do that. Don't take what they say at face value.
Right.
My pastor used to say all the time, don't take my word for it. Go check it out for yourself.
And the Bible calls it Berean, being a Berean, when, Paul mentioned that the Bereans were more noble than the Thessalonians. and it mentioned that they went and they heard Paul. This is Paul, the apostle. And when they heard him, they didn't just say, okay, well, that's Paul, so I don't have to go check. No, they went, and it says they searched the scriptures to see if what Paul was saying was true.
Yeah.
And so that is what we should do. Let's just say this, that is a good thing to do in all aspects of your life.
Absolutely.
Don't just take what a person say. Do your research. Yeah, it's work, but it'll save you in the long haul a whole lot of stuff. So.
Connie says, gosh, I'm lost. I was going to vote, but I just heard some disturbing news, which is not of God. Connie, what is that? What did you hear? She says she's not going to say on here. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let's move on.
Oh, well, that was certainly better. What exactly happened in those 24 hours between when the teaser clip aired and everybody at the Kamala campaign said, holy crap, are you watching Face the Nation? Because that looked awful. And when 60 Minutes aired and then suddenly Kamala Harris looks like she's at least somewhat competent. I don't know. Was a phone call made? I don't know. Editing a presidential candidate to make her sound more competent is just one of many ways the mainstream establishment media operates today. With Donald Trump, as you know, it's exactly the opposite. Trump was set to be interviewed for that same election special on Monday. He bailed out after CBS refused to publicly apologize for claiming that Hunter's laptop was fake news when they interviewed Trump just before the 2020 election. Trump bailing out, of course, infuriated CBS News. Monday night, Scott Pelley introduced the episode of 60 Minutes by effectively calling Trump a coward and calling Trump a liar.
Trump said he needed an apology for his interview in 2020. Trump claims correspondent Leslie Stahl said in that interview that Hunter Biden's controversial laptop came from Russia. She never said that.
She never said that. Pelley telling millions of Americans on Monday Trump used a bogus excuse to bail out of this interview, making Trump look afraid to face the network. In reality, Trump is fully telling the truth. CBS is lying right to your face, in the face of millions of voters, just like they did in 2020. And it's easily provable.
Do you think maybe this is election interference, guys? I'm just going to put that thought in your head. Maybe.
Here's Leslie Stahl before that 2020 interview with Trump even began.
As we moved from subject to subject, our conversation grew more tense. President Trump brought up what he calls the unfairness of the fake media, most prominently a lack of coverage of his unproven and unverified charges that former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter have received millions of dollars in corrupt payments from a Russian oligarch and a Chinese billionaire.
Unproven and unverified. Now, to be fair, Pelley is playing a semantics game to get away with this and to get away with duping all of us. She didn't technically say that the laptop was Russian, and we don't really know if that's all Trump said about it either, but that's what he claims. But she's pointing towards people that have discredited it by calling it a Russian asset, a Russian whatever, fake news propaganda. That's the honest truth. But by that point, we should also tell you when she said that on 60 Minutes 4 years ago, the laptop was verified as real by the New York Post, a newspaper that's been operating in this country for a couple hundred years. The rest of the media was refusing to verify because they knew it would mean the end of Joe Biden a month before the election, or in this case, when that came out, maybe 8 or 9 days before the election.
Wow.
Now, It is since the 2020 election, it said, because now the narrative changed about 2 years ago with
Okay.
that laptop. And,
Okay.
And actually Hunter has had lawsuits. He's been prosecuted for them. He actually was set to go to court, and I think it's been postponed here in California for tax evasion because he falsified his tax returns that were found on the laptop.
On the laptop.
Now, he'll say this: the FBI has had that laptop a year before that Washington Post or the New York Post article came out. And people have said that if they had known about that laptop, they wouldn't have voted for him.
Really? Oh, wow.
So again, our media, what are they doing? Election interference. We're supposed to have a fair and free elections, and our media has, actually, it's the law. They have a responsibility to tell us the truth.
Yes.
And not be biased. But
right.
That's not happening today.
No.
And the FBI isn't doing anything about it. The Department of Justice isn't doing anything about it. No, they're just coming after realtors for their commissions. That's all they're doing.
Wow. Wow. Well, do you remember in that election, Kathy, where it was other countries and they even silenced Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And it was labeled election interference.
Correct.
So, but now it's not.
Well, yeah, exactly. Election interference, like the Trump cases, that were filed against them. So we, as a free society and have freedom of speech, aren't able to question whether or not an election was fair or not. That's the Georgia case. Trump questioned whether or not the election was fair. He had every right to do that according to the First Amendment.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So then there is the Mar-a-Lago case, which this one irks me to no end, being a real estate agent, where Letitia James says that she's the New York State attorney. She says that he overvalued Mar-a-Lago to get a loan.
Okay, I've heard that statement.
Okay. Let me tell you how real estate works, people, including you buying a home. It's no different than him getting a construction loan. And that's what he did. He got a loan off of Mar-a-Lago to build another property. So this is how it works. You go to the bank and you tell them you want a loan for X amount of dollars and that you're going to use this for collateral. And usually when you're buying a home, it's the property that you're buying is your collateral. The bank, in turn, does their own internal appraisal. The buyer does not hire, well, they pay for it, but the buyer doesn't hire the appraiser. Because of the housing crisis and the foreclosure crisis that we had in 2008, the Dodd-Frank bill prohibits anyone for using one specific appraiser. So it goes into a pool. It's a drawing. Whoever you get as the appraiser, you get. So the bank got an appraisal, which was completely random on who the appraiser is, so they couldn't be bought because there was so much appraisal fraud at that time.
Right.
And they appraised the property. And based on that appraisal, they said yes, and financials, but they've done business with him before, so they knew his financials, so they didn't really need to scrutinize over his financials. And that's how the banks work, is that, okay, It is worth $580 million or whatever he said it was worth.
Right.
Letitia James said it was only worth 18 million, and he overinflated it.
Oh,
But through the due diligence of the bank, they lended him the money because they felt that the property was worth what he was saying was worth.
right.
Okay. He paid back the loan early. He made all the payments, paid it back early, no penalties, didn't default on it. So there's no fraud.
Right.
The only way there would have been fraud is if he defaulted and didn't pay on the loan.
Okay.
So Letitia James sued him or indicted him for fraud. Who's defrauded? The only entity that could have been defrauded would have been Deutsche Bank, who lent him the money.
Mhm.
And they weren't defrauded. He paid it back.
Wow.
And then the judge says, after, and mind you, he didn't get to choose whether he had a jury, be tried by jury or tried by judge. The judge automatically says, there won't be a jury trial. It's going to be a trial by judge. Trump didn't get the choice. We in America get the choice to be tried by a jury of our peers or by the judge.
Right.
He
Right.
didn't get that choice. His rights were taken away.
Wow.
And then he found him guilty.
Mm.
And then told him to pay $425 million in fines. And he couldn't do business in New York for a year. And he still had to do something because of the appeal. He still had to come up and come up with some money and all of that stuff. But the thing is if you went to Zillow right now and looked up the Mar-a-Lago property, it values it more than $18 million.
Oh, wow.
And even that's not accurate because Mar-a-Lago is a unique property. And Zillow will do a radius around there and pick up all those property values that don't actually match that.
Okay.
That's still a low value. But yet it's more than what the court said.
Right.
Well, come to find out, the appellate court is telling Letitia James she should have never brought the suit, and she's possibly facing sanctions.
Really? Wow.
So all these lawsuits against him are the law manipulated.
Hmm.
And I've heard this said on Facebook a lot. How come a man who has done business and performed in society for 56 years, who has never broken the law or been arrested, all of a sudden has all these indictments against him? How can that be? Possible election interference?
Yep.
No. All right. Back to our video.
Back to the video.
Leslie Stahl's introduction, which was seen by millions, claimed that the laptop was totally fake. Joe Biden was, of course, not corrupt. You should vote for him. A week later, Joe Biden would eke out an election by around 40,000 votes in a few states, after millions of people watched Leslie Stahl say that Joe Biden is not corrupt. That is called election interference of the highest order. The night of the 60 Minutes interview, Trump's team made a brilliant decision. They recorded the interview themselves. The video you're about to see is a split screen. On the left is Trump's copy of the interview. If it's also playing on the right, that means 60 Minutes actually aired it. If it goes to black and white and freezes, that means it never made the air. It is incredible to see how much CBS edited Trump to make him seem unhinged. Let's take a look.
Him walk out of a store. He's in the midst of a scandal. His family is corrupt. Okay, he's corrupt. He's a corrupt politician. And he's walking with an ice cream. And the question the media asked him, what kind of ice cream? What flavor ice cream do you have? And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking... Of course he is,
no.
Leslie.
Come on.
Of course he is.
You
See
know,
that?
the Senate
So you're like
Republicans.
big tech. You're protecting him, and everyone is except for.
Yeah, but you're taking something that was investigated
Leslie,
by a
let me ask
Republican
you,
committee.
you think it's okay for the mayor of Moscow's wife to give him millions and millions of dollars, $3.5 million?
Did you guys know that? That the mayor of Moscow's wife gave Hunter Biden millions of dollars. For what? You're muted.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
What that could, and that was given to him while his father was vice president.
Wow.
But did you notice how much they cut out of that?
You know, yeah, that was a lot.
That was a lot. But they took out what would have changed people's minds and said, well, maybe I should look more into this.
But
instead of making Trump look like he's crazy.
Right. Wow.
And keep in mind, CBS just got caught. You know, the others do it too.
Right. Wow.
Okay, let's go on.
He went on for another 30 seconds, 28 seconds or so, explaining all of the different ways that the Biden family brought in money from foreign countries. The various different ways. They cut it all out. So it just looked like on the air when 60 Minutes aired it that Trump was randomly claiming that Biden is in the middle of a totally unexplained scandal, which is how it sounded. If you watched that episode of 60 Minutes, it just made him sound delusional. Like you're like, what scandal? What's he talking about? In reality, he was pointing out real corruption, which we now all know is completely true without question and was also verifiable at that time. But CBS didn't want to verify it like the New York Post did. The FBI knew it was real. CBS didn't want to verify it. Trump continues on with another claim which CBS knew was true, the fact that Obama's White House spied on his campaign after Hillary Clinton and the DOJ claimed that Trump was in bed with Vladimir Putin. The details of that story were made public in 2018. 2 years later, Leslie Stahl makes Trump look crazy for claiming that the Obama White House spied on his campaign.
It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is. It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't
No,
verify.
you won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
Yeah. Can't verify, or won't verify. CBS ended up verifying the laptop. We already knew they spied on the campaign. That had been verified. CBS would end up verifying the laptop and the contents of the laptop. It's a job that would have taken a few hours if it were, say, Donald Trump Jr.'s. Hunter Biden's laptop took CBS nearly 800 days to verify.
Wow.
Media truth. Question.
Media
Yeah.
truth. So does anyone have any comments on this media truth, media bias with twisted truth? Well, this most definitely, I think, will fall up under election interference.
Yeah, most
I
definitely.
mean, there's no doubt about it. Wow.
So, yeah, we need to pray about discernment,
Yeah.
and we need to vote. And I know that we say this all the time, and we're not here to tell you who to vote for, but nobody's perfect.
Right.
And this isn't about Democrat versus Republican. It is about good versus evil.
Yeah.
And we can't believe the media. The only reason I chose to show you that news clip was because they backed it up. You know, they showed the difference, and it was, it's obvious that CBS altered the interviews to fit the narrative, and and to make Kamala look good.
Yeah.
It's very hard, and I get it with her because she can't answer a question without a script. There was a rally where the teleprompter went down this last week.
Oh.
And let me see if I can find the clip. And she couldn't carry on.
Wow. She can't.
Yeah, this was 4 days ago.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the one that isn't gonna. I mean, there's so many on here that's gonna. It was so bad that Saturday Night Live did a parody of it.
They did? Oh, wow.
Okay.
Even they caught it?
They caught it.
Wow.
So this is Sky News from Australia. They caught it.
Okay.
So I haven't watched this clip. So I don't know all of what she's going to say.
Okay.
So just bear with me here.
Okay.
Okay, you can put it up.
Okay.
Dealing with bold-faced lies, let's hear from Kamala herself and listen to how she flounders when there is the slightest bit of pushback.
The question was, how are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. It is not right that teachers...
I'll have to find the clip that goes along with that.
Oh,
because
I saw that one. It's good.
Yeah, it's good, but also she says that the rich need to pay their fair share. They pay their fair share.
Right.
They pay more taxes than we do. So anyway, that's another note, but we'll go on.
And nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. And I plan on making that fair.
Say what now? Teachers are paying higher tax rates than the super rich? Really? I know this type of simplistic class warfare speaks to the low information voters that the Democrats count on, but the reality is that the rich pay obviously a lot more tax The top 1%, in fact, pay over 45% of all income tax. And the top 5% pay 65.6% of all income tax collected. That's from the 2021 IRS data. So I'm sure they know what they're talking about. Imagine how Kamala would go in a hostile interview. She can't even cope at her own rally when the teleprompter appears to malfunction momentarily.
We got 32 days until the election.
It just went down.
So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it.
Amazing stuff from her.
You knew the minute that the teleprompter went down. Did you see her take that big breath?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes. I saw that.
The leader of our country needs to be able to think on their feet.
Yeah.
They need to be able to be quick to answer, quick to respond. You know, you're negotiating to stop a war, and you get some pushback, and you can't come up with something to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
Yeah.
For the leader of the country.
I agree. Wow.
So, but any questions?
I don't see any. I'm just in case if some people may feel a little like, I'm not really getting it or what, but I think we're laying it out pretty clear and then taking each point, but I don't see any. Let's see. No, I don't see any questions.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all we have for today.
Yes.
Friday's show, I hope you join us for Friday's show. We are going to compare biblically the Democrat Party to the Republican Party.
Yes.
So we want to get all this information out to you so you can make the wisest decision when voting. And I encourage you, even though somebody said something, you need to vote. We all need to vote, because by you not voting, you're still voting, and it's going to vote against what you would have voted for.
Exactly.
So, and as we've been showing you and teaching you, it's a biblical responsibility and stewardship for us to take care of our country, and our voice is our vote in this country. So I just really encourage you, if you're on the fence and you don't think you're going to vote or don't know who you're going to vote for, that's what we're here for, and that's what we're trying to help with. 2% has a question.
Who does?
2%.
2%? Oh, okay. Okay. I don't see it yet. Oh, okay.
She'll try to make it short. Oh, and also, while we're waiting, right now, and I forgot to mention this, my brain, I apologize, but today, and please pray for these women, there is a 1 million woman march on the mall in Washington, D.C. going on right now.
Oh, wow.
It's an Esther call to the mall, and they're out there praying and for our country. They're praying for Gen Z. There's a lot of speakers going on. You can watch it live on YouTube. It's going on right now at 1 million women.
Okay.
And I'll put the the link here in the chat. And Shireen, you'll have to repost it for Real Talk. But yeah, it's going on right now. And there's some good things coming out of that as well. So it would be good to watch them. All right, 2%. So we vote now. What will you do if you vote and that person does not win? Then what will you do? Good question. Then we have more work to do. Just because who we vote for doesn't win doesn't mean that life in America is over. But we do have a fight no matter who wins after us. We still have, if you were with us last night, to save the children from pornography and all that's being taught to them in school. To speak up, write letters, be heard. Our voting is an important part, but it's not the only part of how we make changes. We the silent majority, need to speak up, and we're starting to speak up loudly. There are remnants starting, and God works with remnants. He works with small groups of people to make change.
That's right.
And, yes, Trump is down in the Coachella Valley right now. He's coming on at 5 p.m. Pacific. He's only an hour away from me, guys, right now. I live an hour away from Coachella.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were going to go out there, but it's too hot.
Oh, and
it's
then
over 100.
And Kathy, and at this point, if you were to go now, you would probably be somewhere on
nowhere close. We wouldn't even be able to get in.
Right. I just wanted to comment on 2%. So we vote now. What will you do if you vote and that person does not win? Then what will you do? Absolutely. So if the one that you vote for doesn't win, we know that both can't. So somebody is going to not win. But me and Kathy actually talked about that, because it's like, you know how they say, well, let's come together and let's, try to have unity and etc. But how can you join unity with, I don't know, just let me take this off. How can you join in with unity when you don't have no unity? I mean, the way some people, like when you maybe say, I can't join unity with someone, it doesn't mean that you're talking about fighting and want to, anything of that nature. But it's like, as a believer, I can't join unity with a group of people who are promoting things that the scripture is very clear on. Just saying. Yeah. Oh, Kathy's on mute.
I muted. The video started playing.
Oh, okay. So did you hear what I said, Kathy?
Yeah, I did. Nothing's perfect in this world. And it goes back to aligning yourself with the most biblical as possible. And nobody's going to be perfect.
Right. What did Connie say?
She's going to the Trump rally here at Coachella. She's an hour away.
Oh, really? Is that what you was going to share with us, Connie? Yes, that is so true, Shireen. We have to keep our eyes on Christ regardless of who is in office. Days
That's
are
right.
getting darker, not brighter. So true. Keep leaning on Jesus, who is unshakable. Amen. Unbreakable.
You know,
Yes.
voting for one candidate over the other, again, which is most biblical. And I know a lot of people are looking at Trump to save the country, but he's not going to save the country.
No.
No, there's too many problems for one president in 4 years to do anything.
Exactly.
And Kamala, I don't know if you saw the clip from her on The View. She was asked the question by Sonny if she would change anything and that has been done in the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Would she change anything? And she says, no, I can't think of anything. So basically, she's just going to be more of the same of Biden, by her own words.
Right. Right.
So, you know, we're on the brink of Third World War III.
Amen.
We are on the brink of it, guys. Things that aren't always getting reported in the media. You know, Iran is, right now we have 18 Navy ships in the Mediterranean.
How many? 18?
18. There were 26. Now they're 18. And they're getting shot at every single day. They're getting missiles shot at them from Hezbollah, from the Houthis, from Hamas. And do you want, and this is just in recent, you know, we talked about it last night. Do you want an administration that's going to send $157 million in aid money to a country that is housing a terrorist group in Hezbollah that is shooting at our military?
Wow. You know, yeah.
God says we're to protect our nation. He says that over and over again, to protect our borders.
Protect our borders.
He says, protect the land that I give you. He said that to Abraham. You know, protect the land that I give you. Don't let foreigners in your land.
Wow.
And we're over there supporting Israel, protecting Israel. And God also says, those who bless Israel, I will bless you.
Yeah.
So why are we supporting Iran? We've given billions of dollars to Iran. And all they've done is funneled the money to these terrorist groups to attack Israel.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and we'll get more into that and the Democrat Party. And I don't understand a lot of it as to the mentality of it all. And mind you, the Republican Party isn't much better. I'll tell you that. And, you know, I wish there was no parties, but it is what it is, because the parties, all they do is divide people.
Yeah.
And, you know, and make you dislike one over the other.
Oh, yeah. A lot of division.
A lot of division. And like that clip, and I do believe that clip from that gentleman a couple of weeks ago, that Trump came to divide the nation.
Oh, yeah.
I think God is dividing the nation between good and evil.
Yeah.
And we that are good need to wake up and pay attention and actually look what is evil. It's not okay. it's not okay for drag queens to read story time to our children. If you're in that kind of thing, then do it in those clubs, in your bedroom, whatever. Don't teach it to our innocent children.
Yes. Yes.
You know, what happened to the decency laws that even if you were to urinate in public, you would be arrested on sexual assault? But yet these gay pride parades, and they're out there walking naked.
Right. Right.
Is that not sexual abuse? What happened to the laws of indecent exposure? Why aren't they? Well, here in California, I know why they're not. Is because Kamala Harris weakened our criminal system.
Wow.
She wrote a law and signed a law or supported a law that allowed shoplifters to get away with it if they had shoplifted less than $950 worth of merchandise. They will not be arrested. They will not be imprisoned.
Wow.
And other crap like that.
Wow.
She did that. So people wake up. If you're on the fence about Trump or Kamala, pay attention to what she did here in California. Look up her record.
Yeah.
Look up her record of what she did in the Senate and vice president and senator.
Yes.
As vice president, she was the tiebreaker on this Inflation Act, which just caused more inflation.
Wow.
It didn't reduce anything.
And I assume she's not addressing that.
Of course not. She's dodging the questions. It comes, well, I grew up in a middle-class family. No, you didn't. You grew up in an upper middle-class family.
Upper middle-class family. Yeah.
Trump's not perfect. And there's a lot of stuff that he says that I don't like.
Right.
A lot of rhetoric, a lot of sarcasm. But I can say that compared to Kamala's policies versus his policies.
Who are you going to choose?
Exactly.
Yeah. Who are you going to choose? Wow. That definitely was a good clip.
Oh, Shireen posted that she wants to make prostitution legal. Yes, she does.
She does?
Yes.
Now that one I did not.
She has said that.
But I heard her say she wants prostitution to become legal. Wow.
And 2%'s asking me how well is my knowledge on Trump? Very well. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to tell you to vote for him, but I am a Trump supporter. And I know that his record, we had record low inflation. We didn't have any new wars. He actually stopped the wars. We didn't have any military die at the hands of terrorists in Afghanistan for 18 months when he was president.
Yeah, that's true.
He told them to stop. And being a military mom, that means something to me. Where now we have Biden and Harris that are allowing and not fighting back missiles being shot at our military over in the Middle East. We have soldiers that have been injured in Iraq. And Kamala comes out and says there are no troops in harm's way. The heck there isn't. And for me, my son,
I was going to say that. I was just about to say that you have
being in the military.
Yes.
I'm terrified of another 4 years under this administration.
Yeah.
Because they don't have our military's backs. They're more concerned about letting drag queens and DEI control the military. That has no place in the military. The military needs to be strong, fighting, working men and women.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, the latest thing he said, and I don't know if you guys caught that yesterday in his Colorado rally, is that he is bringing up, which is a law, and he can do this, that will, and it's from the 1800s, that will deport immediately detain and actually put him in our jails. These terrorists, these illegal terrorist groups, like the Venezuelan cartels gang that took over the apartment building in Aurora, that they're trying to cover up and say it was false.
But
it's
that's
not.
but it's true.
It's true.
It's
It's
true.
true. And rounding all them up and detaining them and prosecuting them right away.
Right. Well, 2% had a question. Did Trump say if he's president that he's going to give to the immigrants?
He's going to do what?
So 2%. Did we say it correctly? Did Trump say if he's president that he is going to give shots to the immigrants?
No.
No, I've not even heard that before.
No.
I've not heard that. No.
No. He's going to deport them. He said he was going to deport them. He's going to close the border on day one. And I can tell you, living where I live, it needs to be closed.
I can only imagine the areas where it's overran.
We've had cartel murders less than 20 miles from here. Out past the Temecula wine country.
He's supposed to chip. Okay, what does that mean? He's supposed to chip the immigrants?
No, he's not going to chip them. No, nobody's going to get chipped.
Okay, I've not heard of that one either, Connie.
Yeah, microchip.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah, no. Yes, he is able to deport them. Because right now, the Biden-Harris administration is in violation of federal law, allowing these people to come in through the borders without the proper requirements, without actually filing to be in this country. It's illegal for what they're doing.
Saying and doing are two different things. Whew.
Well, one thing you know about Trump, if he says something, he's going to do it. And he can close that border and remove the I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. And remove them by executive order. He doesn't need an act of Congress or Senate to do that because it is against federal law. And all he needs to do is give the command to the Border Patrol and the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FBI to round him up. And he's going to use the National Guard to do it with local police departments. So
the thing that I see is that what Trump is going to be doing when it comes back to the immigrants is trying to we got to get the influx of all the illegal immigrants back over to where they're at, and then close up the borders, give the people what they need to be able to do their job, and then have something in place, a system where people are legally coming over the right way. It's just really, yeah. I don't know any place that just have open borders like that.
None. There is no place in the
I mean,
in the world.
am I mistaken on that? Like, what
Nope.
country has open borders? Like, just come on in, like, for an example, my state, I mean, where I'm at, in Canada, you have to have a passport. You can't just, I
No.
mean, it would be something similar, just like how, Mexico,
Mhm.
how, in its, close vicinity with, being able to cross over. That's the same way, just like in Canada, it's like, okay, just come on in.
Right.
No, there
No.
is no, so this, like, this is not the way the, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an agenda. I'll just say
2%.
that.
2% has some statements and questions.
Oh, questions. Okay, sorry, 2%. Let's see. If you can put a Q in front of your question with like two dots, or to separate it, that will help so much. Let's see. Okay, we answered that one on something okay. How well, oh, okay. Did you answer this one, Kathy? How well is your knowledge on
Yeah,
Trump?
I did.
You
I
did?
did.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Uh
2%, you said, well, since he has Elon. What do you mean by that?
okay, let's see.
Oh, about the chip that Elon wants to chip people?
So
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
And I hadn't heard that before from Elon Musk, that he wants to chip people.
Oh, I haven't. You've heard it before, Kathy?
No.
Oh,
No.
I've never heard it before.
No,
Oh,
I haven't either. Is it
okay.
not showing? What's not showing?
I don't. Okay.
All right.
Oh, there's a new comment. A new comment? Statement. Okay, since Trump is buddies with Elon. Okay, so you answered that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Oh, at 2%. Okay. It seems like there was. So on, and I just wanted to say this. Me and Kathy was talking about this, and as while I was looking, and we have 3.5 weeks. I want to say about 3.5 weeks left.
Mm-hmm.
3.5 weeks left, and early voting starts here on October the 22nd, all the way through November the 1st, in person. You can do in person. I mean, I was kind of debating, like, do I want to wait till on the actual day and go? Or should I go ahead and go early just because, on the action, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go ahead of time because you just don't know. So I just want to encourage everyone, find out when your early voting is.
Yes.
And I would strongly suggest you go, because with this election, it's unlike any other, this one. And so who knows what could end up happening. So I would strongly suggest if you can go early to vote.
Yeah. Also, they've already arrested someone who has a plot that was going to do a terrorist thing on election day. So, yes, vote early. Do not wait until election day. They have already said that there is chatter on things that might happen on election day. Systems going down. You never know, like what happened in Maricopa County in 2022, where the voting machines went down. We don't want that to happen. So vote early. Here in California, we also start early voting on the 26th.
Okay.
We received our ballots.
Can you put that so I can post it up, Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay, so others, I'm putting mine up, and we are a swing state, so definitely. So early voting is October the 22nd through November the 1st. And could you others who are in the chat, do you know when your early voting is in your area, and so we can post it? So is that correct? Kathy, do you know, does it go to a certain time? Like ours is the 22nd all the way through October the 22nd through November the 1st. Is it just one day in California?
No, it's all the way to the 5th.
Okay. So do you have that like that? Okay.
Here's a website you can go to find out if you can vote early, and you'll have to repost it in your chat because it won't. All these comments don't post on my channel.
Okay.
So when I post something, it only goes to your channel. To my channel from here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we got that one. And okay. And I don't see any okay.
All righty. Well, before we wrap up, any more questions?
Anyone wants to come on? Okay.
All righty then. Okay. Well, have a blessed Saturday, the rest of your weekend. And we are thankful that you're here. Please subscribe and share our episodes on both channels. I'll put my channel up as well.
Yes. And I want to say this. Yesterday, I don't know if everyone can remember, probably not, but I will be wearing it again along with others. But I was wearing one of Kathy's. It was it's not a t-shirt, but one of her designs on a hoodie, and I want to tell you, it felt so good. It's good quality. And I just loved what it said. It was grace and mercy, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and I like grace and mercy. and then it had the scripture, and so I loved it, and so I'll be wearing it again, so you all will see it again. And Kathy, is that one of your designs?
Yes, this one.
Okay, what is it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
So it says, I stand for the flag and kneel at the cross, Philippians 2:10-11.
And what does it say at the bottom? And okay.
No, and kneel,
we can't see
the cross. Yeah, kneel for the cross.
Okay, and kneel for the cross.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And
And
what does it say on their sleeve?
it's faith and freedom. Galatians 5:1.
And
There's freedom in Christ.
Oh, I like that.
Well, being a military mom, a lot of my shirts have the military style with the flag on the right arm.
Yeah,
And the
that's
reason it's
beautiful.
going that way is because America never retreats. So we're always pressing forward. So when you look at a flag and you're moving forward, it's flying backwards.
Mm.
And if it's going the other way, that means you're running. But America never retreats. I saw a video one time that these, I think it was the British. I forget who it was, but they were under fire, and they all kept saying, "Oh, wait, the Americans are coming." And it's, we have the strongest military in the world. And that's the reason we go to foreign aid all the time, is because we're so strong. And let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Rosie, you've always voted in person. How do you vote early? Online or what? I guess I just don't trust no other way. So early voting is like here in California, it's voting in person. So check that website, check your state as when early voting in person or early voting will start. I believe almost all of them, if not all of them, will have early voting. I know the mail-in ballots. We get a mail-in ballot whether we want it or not here in California.
Yeah.
Which is a good way for them to cheat, but it's got to be too big to rig. So no matter if your candidate looks like they're winning, just still vote. Don't sit home this election. It's too important. Jesus is on the line here. The soul of our nation is on the line.
Well, I definitely, for me, I would prefer to go in person. I don't want to do a paper, because I'm like, no, I don't trust that. So early voting for me, which is start on the 22nd. So yay, I want to keep my little voting thing and put it on. I don't know what the 22nd is. Like, I voted.
It's a week from Tuesday.
Okay, that's on a Tuesday. So I'll be like, I voted. But
my son will be home with his girlfriend, and they're taking us to a hockey game. We're going to the Ducks. We're going to go see the Mighty Ducks.
Right. Wow. I tell you, it's just going to be, something else I want to say really quick, kind of debunking something. What was it? But you know what? Maybe I'll wait, because they may have a clip or something. So I don't want to just say it and then don't have something to back it up. So maybe it'll be something that'll be played on the next time. And with us at this point, if something really comes up, God willing, we will do a special. We won't just wait till Friday, because we want to because we know that there are more people that are even watching, that is even in the comment section. So people are watching, and they're getting informative, information and all of that. And so yes, I'm really looking forward to when we're able to come, when we come again and share even more, because there's always something that is new that is happening. But I do want to say, before we do end too, really quick, let's continue to remember about the hurricane victims.
Yes.
Let's continue to lift up Helene as well as in Florida, because they're also saying, how will this affect voting?
Right.
And we don't know how, because if you've just lost everything, like I think it was reported that one man, he lost 11 members of his family. Do you really think that he's probably thinking about voting?
I don't know. I don't know. I might
Maybe.
just
I don't know. I mean,
because FEMA and our government are not helping those people.
Or you say, or not,
Are not. Are
and
not.
you know, and this is the thing. This is the thing. You know, looking at this disaster, and as I see the pictures, it's just, I mean, it's devastating, because I'm putting myself there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, if that was me, like, I don't know. I really can't even say how I would be.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I think I mean, we saw that clip yesterday of FEMA and how dysfunctional they were. People are hurting. Would you hurry up and set up, find a way? You know, get Starlink. You would be up immediately. You're waiting for internet service. Come on. Get the job done. Take action. You sit on your hands and people die. There are people out there that nobody's reached them. They've had no food, no nothing for over a week. It's cold.
Yeah.
They don't have heat. They don't have structure. They're huddled underneath a tarp.
Wow.
In 30-degree weather. Come on. No, we can do better. We can do better than that.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So, yes, next, yeah, it is like, it is so sad. It really is. So, yes, I just thought about that. I'm sure we are lifting up those who have been affected, and let's just not forget, however we can, prayers. If you can send something collectively, it may be like, I only have $5, but $5 with 20 people, 100 people, it's like, collectively. And 2% said she has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, 2%. Yes. I guess we'll have to wait a little bit before it'll show up. We don't see it yet. So we'll wait a little. So, and what time is the rally? Is it already going on?
No,
It's already going.
It's at 5 p.m.
It's
Pacific
at
time.
5 p.m. It's going
Yeah.
to be okay. So
2% says, do you think it's best to do ballots or computer? They've proven that the computers were hacked and votes were altered. This last election, that was proven. So I would say paper ballots. Paper ballot is the safest. That's my opinion. We have those Dominion voting machines here in California, and a friend of mine, she worked for the company that developed the software for it, and it was a big old thing in the Philippines on their elections, and they banned them. The software was actually developed for slot machines, and if a slot machine was about to pay off, they could remotely change it from paying off. Well, it's the same software as those Dominion voting machines, from what I understand. So I don't trust them. That's just me.
yeah, that's true, Shireen. Yes, even with the paper ballot, yeah, you have to feed it through the machine.
Right.
I actually have one quick question. So, how does it? Okay, so they're saying the volunteers and how when you go with the voting, how there's going to be the oversight for
Mhm.
integrity voting. How does that actually? I mean, what does that look like? So I know here where I go vote. So I go to the library to vote. And so they have the room, have everything set up. And so you go up to your district, number, and then they ask your name, and then they ask for photo ID. And so I give them my driver's license, and then they're looking my name, looking at my, seeing my address, doing all that. And there's a couple of people that's there. So the person so how is it like they have someone from each party who is right there looking alongside? Is that what they mean by having the oversight?
Hmm. Yeah,
And
it's supposed to be a person from each party, overlooking, making sure that no shenanigans happen.
okay, so what was different? What's going to be different this time than last time? Didn't they have that last time?
No,
So
there were polling places that wouldn't allow Republicans in. There were
oh,
places that, all of a sudden a water main breaks and they had to stop counting. But yet later on, and videos came out of people in that place where they were counting votes pull out containers of ballots because they kicked everybody out because a water main broke. There was too many shenanigans because of COVID last time. And there's investigations and there's things that had happened and there's videos and you notice that you don't have the drop-off boxes this time as you did last time because Mark Zuckerberg didn't fund it. He funded those through a nonprofit and he's staying out of the election this time. Have you noticed on Facebook that your posts that probably would have been censored and taken down last time during the election aren't being taken down? You're muted.
yes, I noticed this time he's being very mom,
Mm-hmm.
like zip. He's not. Yeah, I noticed that this time. Yeah.
Things are
So
different.
that's okay. So that's how that works. So last
Yeah.
time I think I vaguely remember that, but this time around, that's not happening. It's like there's not going to be no voting place where there is not of both parties.
Not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be, but
We don't know until election day.
don't
And
know.
mind you, they're going to cheat. They're going to try and cheat. But that's why we vote early. We tell everybody, our friends and our family to register to vote. And that's the other thing you need to be aware of is in some states it's already beyond the time to register to vote. It was in October 7th was the last. Here in California, it's the 21st. Is the last day to register to vote. You need to make sure that people are registered to vote and go out and vote.
Okay.
10 people, get them to vote.
Yeah.
This is to an important election. The
Yeah.
soul of our country,
True.
good versus evil.
All righty. Well, I just want to. We both want to say thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Shireen, for
Yes, thank you very much.
moderating, and Chris. I know he was with us, and then so thank you as well, Chris. Thank you, 2%, Connie, and I don't want to leave off Angela, and others who I don't think I've left off anybody, but thank you all so much for sharing, for coming, for liking, sharing this video. Please do. And as we always say, hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Shalom and
God bless.
God bless. Until next time.
See you
Bye.
Friday.